The reason why I'm buying Cardano's native token called ADA over Bitcoin is because I just think that Bitcoin is a dinosaur. Now, of course, nothing I say is financial advice nor a guarantee, but that right there, that may ruffle some feathers because people are like, oh, what do you mean that Bitcoin's a dinosaur? All this type of stuff. But here's the thing. I'm in the world of cryptocurrencies to get potential gains. I'm not looking for like a 3x, for instance. And this actually brings me to my point that I believe that ADA could hypothetically go to the price of $10 during this bull run. But before I get into the reasons why I think that could happen, just think about this, right? If let's say it were to go to the price of $10, considering current circulating supply, market cap at that point would be around $350 billion. Now, that may seem like a crazy amount, but it's actually around $200 billion less than Ethereum's all-time high market cap. So yeah, it's not too much to ask for. And as we all know, I believe that Cardano is just a lot better than Ethereum. But even besides that, that right there is around a 28x from here. Now, for instance, on the flip side, let's say Bitcoin were to do a 28x from here. At that point, market cap would be around $33.5 trillion. And yeah, you heard that right, trillion. Now, also on top of that, the price of Bitcoin at that point would be around $1.7 million. Now, of course, again, this is considering current circulating supply. Now, let's break this down, right? If you take a look at the GDP of the UK back in 2022, that was around $3 trillion. So is it logical for Bitcoin to go to, over $33 trillion in market cap during this bull run? No, I don't think so. Now, am I saying that Bitcoin is complete caca? No, I'm not saying that, right? I'm just saying that it's kind of a dinosaur. And even though it has amazing institutional adoption, the Bitcoin ETF is fantastic, I just think it's a dinosaur in a sense that there's not really much potential upside at this point because, again, right, could it do, 3x during this bull run? Maybe. Could it go to the price of $150,000? Hypothetically, I believe so. But I think it can't go to the price of like $1 million, during this bull run. I'm not saying the long term, but I'm just saying, in this time frame, right? No, I just don't think it's realistic. So again, if I only had like one shot, let's say, to put all my eggs into one basket during this bull run, ADA or Bitcoin, ADA is really a no-brainer pick for me. Now, granted, did Bitcoin reach a new all-time high this year? Yes. Did ADA do that? Absolutely not. But in my opinion, around a year from right now, things could look so different. So even though in the short term, I would say things were not necessarily looking the best for ADA, I think that better days are ahead. And usually, right, during a fully fledged bull run, typically altcoins, they could very well outperform Bitcoin. And it's been noted time and time again in terms of percentage increase. So that's why I believe that ADA is just a much better pick for me. Now, granted, is this going to happen like tomorrow or like next week? No, because as a worst case scenario, altcoins have been known to peak around a year and a half after a Bitcoin halving event. And the Bitcoin halving event did happen back in April. So that's actually around October of next year as a worst case. Could it happen sooner? Yes. But again, that's a worst case scenario. And that, if anything, showcases that something like ADA still has a lot in the gas tank. And I think it still has a lot to prove. Now, let's also take this into consideration. Cardano, in my opinion, is arguably one of the best layer one blockchains out there because people oftentimes like to say that, oh, Solana is amazing. They like to say that Avalanche is fantastic. They say that, wow, Cardano is just a complete dinosaur that's not as good as them. But no, I disagree because if you take a look at Avalanche, what is it known for, right? Amazing scalability, it's fast, and also on top of that, very low gas fees. These are traits that Cardano has. So when people like to say that Avalanche is better, of course, people, they have their own opinions, but I just don't really get it. I mean, they're pretty much kind of the same, if not Cardano's better, because if you take a look at the community, it's a lot more dynamic, it's a lot more massive, and it's a lot more established. So yeah, it kind of has that edge over Avalanche. Now, you take a look at something like Solana, right? Is Solana amazing? Yes, as of right now, but if you take a look at its track record, it's not necessarily known for amazing reliability. You take a look at, for instance, at one point, Solana did experience 8 different network outages in just a time span of a year. Now, that's very unacceptable in my opinion, but even besides that, they did fix it. But the way I take a look at Solana is that it's kind of like a Range Rover. Is a Range Rover known for amazing reliability? No, but it looks cool, and also it drives amazing, so that's why people like it. Now, granted, again, you take a look at the older Range Rovers, they're not really known for reliability. As of right now, it's a lot better, arguably speaking, much like Solana. But if you take a look at something like Cardano, it's like a Lexus, you know what I mean? Yeah, sure. Is it the most flashy one out there? No. Is it cooler than a BMW or a Range Rover? Absolutely not. But in my opinion, it has rock solid reliability. And that's what we need when it comes to a layer one blockchain. And I love that when it comes to Cardano. Now, with all that being said, though, people really love Ethereum for some reason, but I just don't really get it because I don't like the gas fees, and also on top of that, scalability is arguably a major issue. Again, Cardano doesn't have these caca nonsense problems, so I just think it's arguably, just a lot better than something like Ethereum. If you think about it, Cardano's in such a unique position where, fundamentals are amazing. The newcomers don't really defeat it in that sense. But again, the special added sauce is that the community is fantastic and it's very well established. So it's in such a fantastic position, and that's why I really like it. Now, also take this into consideration. We're beginning to see some AI projects pop up on Cardano, which I think is fantastic because we all know that AI is going to be the next big thing. According to Grandview Research, the AI market could be worth nearly $2 trillion by 2030. So yeah, that's insane. Now, granted, did some of the hype die down? Yes, but it's a step in the right direction nonetheless. And I think Cardano's the right place because even though Ethereum has a lot of fans, so that's good for, let's say, launching like a meme coin, for instance. But if, let's say, a project or a developer, they want to look for amazing fundamentals, I would say arguably Cardano's just a much better pick, Yeah, sure, the fans may not be as great as like an Ethereum, but I just think a project has a higher ceiling on Cardano. It doesn't have to deal with all that caca nonsense, even despite Ethereum having layer 2s that fixes, some of the problems, I would say. Even despite that, I think Cardano is just a much better, place to be, I think, for projects just in general, like DeFi projects, NFT projects, whatever the case may be. Now, when it comes to Cardano, is it necessarily like, having bad adoption? No, ecosystem is pretty good. There's over 2,000 projects currently building and thriving on Cardano. So yeah, any way I view it, I think Cardano is such a no-brainer pick for me. People like to say, oh, wow, why are you so bullish on Cardano? It's because all the reasons I mentioned before. I think it's very amazing. Some people like to think that $10 is this crazy pipe dream, but again, I disagree. Market cap at that point, considering current circulating supply, which I mentioned earlier on in the video, by the way, is still around $200 billion less than Ethereum's all-time high market cap. That's not a joke. By the way, because Ethereum at one point reached around $550 billion in market cap, ADA at the price of $10, again, considering current circulating supply, market cap would be around $350 billion. So it's not insane. And why would it be crazy? I mean, again, like I mentioned also earlier on in the video, you take a look at the Bitcoin ETF, the number of institutional investors, enterprise adoption. That's amazing. I think that's really going to contribute to an amazing bull run, even though I don't want to own any Bitcoin. But even besides that, again, a lot of altcoins are going to depend on Bitcoin. And I think as it reaches new great heights, or should I say greater heights, I think that, altcoins, much like ADA, they're going to hypothetically go along with the ride. Not to mention, there's over 500 million crypto owners, according to Crypto.com research, which is more than ever before in history. So yeah, this bull run could be so special, but it's just a waiting game at this point, which is why I'm dollar cost averaging into ADA, acquiring ADA anytime earned income and holding, as opposed to Bitcoin. Because, again, I just think Bitcoin doesn't really have that much room to grow at this point. I think ADA is just a much better pick for me. Room for growth is still pretty decent in my opinion. Again, $10 is around a 28x from here, so it's not caca. I don't see why not. I think Cardano is the winner here for me. And make sure to subscribe if you gain value from this video. I greatly appreciate it. It's been Lee the Captain. I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.